The grip of the ghost. Imagine it's the year 2150. A great-great-grandchild of a modern tech titan wakes up in a world transformed by a century of innovation. They live in a sky-high spire, surrounded by technology we can barely dream of, yet their daily life is dictated by a set of rules written 125 years ago. They can't marry who they want. They can't live where they choose. They can't even change their career without forfeiting a fortune. This isn't science fiction. This is the ultimate goal of the Dead Hand Provision, a legal mechanism that allows the wealthiest people on Earth to reach out from the grave and micromanage the future from 6 feet under. Most of us think of a will as a simple handoff. I die. You get my house. End of story. But for the billionaire class, a will isn't a handoff. It's a remote control. They aren't just passing on money, they are attempting to build an eternal dynasty, governed by their personal values, their grudges, and their specific vision for a world they will never actually see. The architecture of control. In the world of sophisticated estate planning, dead hand control is the practice of attaching strings, thick, unbreakable steel cables to an inheritance. We've seen the incentive trust play out in celebrity circles for decades. You get your money only if you graduate from an Ivy League school. You get your payout only if you remain sober or stay married, or in some of the more eccentric cases, produce a male heir by the age of 30. But as we move toward the mid-21st century, the stakes have escalated. We are seeing the rise of the centennial trust, designed to bypass the traditional rule against perpetuities, that pesky bit of Old English law that used to prevent property from being tied up for more than a few generations. Modern billionaires are moving their wealth to dynasty states like South Dakota or Nevada, where trusts can legally last for 365 years, or in some cases, forever. They are planning for the year 2150 with the precision of a Swiss watch, ensuring that their fingerprints stay on the money until the sun burns out. The AI Resurrection Clause. By 2026, a new and terrifying layer has been added to these wills: the digital likeness mandate. Modern celebrities and billionaires are no longer just leaving behind cash, they are leaving behind their data. In current estate plans, we are seeing provisions that dictate exactly how an AI-generated version of the deceased can be used 100 years from now. These dead hand clauses mandate that the estate must maintain a digital ghost, a sophisticated AI construct trained on the billionaire's emails, speeches, and private journals. The will doesn't just say who gets the money, it stipulates that the AI avatar of the great founder must be consulted on major family decisions until the 22nd century. It is the ultimate ego trip, the attempt to ensure that your wisdom remains the CEO of your family long after your biology has returned to the earth. The mathematical cage. Let's look at the cold, hard numbers that drive these provisions. If a billionaire leaves $10 billion in a direct trust with a 7% annual return, that trust could theoretically swell to over $20 trillion by the year 2015. That is more than the entire current GDP of the United States. The dead hand provision ensures that this gargantuan pile of capital cannot be touched, broken up, or spent on anything other than the specific approved purposes outlined in 2026. This creates a terrifying economic reality. A massive percentage of the world's wealth could eventually be locked by the whims of dead people. These provisions aren't just controlling a family, they are potentially bottlenecking the global economy, forcing future generations to solve 22nd century problems using 21st century rules. The moral and legal backlash. History shows us that the dead hand often chokes the very people it's meant to protect. We've seen the tragic sagas of heirs like those of Howard Hughes, or the massive, decade-long legal battles over the estates of icons like Prince and Whitney Houston. When you try to control the future too tightly, the future fights back. Courts are increasingly being asked to decide, where does a person's right to control their property end and a living person's right to liberty begin? Can a great-grandfather from 2026 legally prevent a person in 2015 from choosing their own path? As we head toward these centennial milestones, the legal system is preparing for a massive showdown. The living are tired of being governed by ghosts, and the fight to break these dead hand provisions is becoming the most expensive legal battlefield in history. The dynastic gatekeepers. To understand how a will survives for over a century, you have to look at the people hired to enforce it. A billionaire doesn't just leave a stack of papers, they appoint a corporate trustee, often a massive specialized trust bank or a dedicated single family office. These entities are the ultimate gatekeepers. They are paid millions of dollars in fees annually to act as the literal voice of the deceased. If a descendant in the year 2150 wants to access their trust fund to start a business, they don't just fill out a form. They have to present their business plan to a board of corporate suits who compare the request to a document written in 2026. If the document says the family fortune can only be used for traditional brick and mortar industries, and the heir wants to launch an asteroid mining venture, the request is instantly denied. The living must constantly bend their knees to the economic biases of a previous century, bloodlines, and genetic directives. As we look toward the next century, the dead hand is expanding from financial control into the terrifying realm of biology. High-end estate planners in New York, London, and Zurich are already dealing with clients who want to insert genetic directives into their centennial trusts. With the rise of advanced gene editing and reproductive technologies, billionaires are writing clauses that tie inheritance to genetic lineage. For instance, some modern wills specify that heirs who utilize certain unapproved genetic modifications, or conversely, those who fail to use screening technologies to eliminate specific hereditary risks, can be entirely cut off from the family wealth. Other wills contain strict clauses regarding posthumous reproduction, dictating how many decades frozen embryos can be stored and used while still retaining a legal claim to the estate. It is a chilling evolution of the traditional family tree, where the dead use their money to curate the very DNA of their descendants. The geopolitical safe havens. A 150-year plan is only as good as the country backing it up. Billionaires know that governments fall, tax laws change, and empires crumble. That is why the dead hand relies entirely on geopolitical safe havens. The ultra-wealthy are not structuring these 2,150 trusts under standard state laws. They are exploiting micro-jurisdictions that have specifically altered their legislation to cater to permanent wealth. States like South Dakota, Alaska, and Delaware have completely abolished the historic legal rules that forced trusts to terminate. They have created a legal environment where money can sit in a permanent, tax-exempt vacuum forever. By utilizing these havens, a billionaire can shield their wealth from federal estate taxes for generations. This means that while ordinary citizens pay taxes that fund infrastructure, roads, and schools, the dynastic wealth of the elite grows completely untouched by the public grid, widening the economic chasm between the living and the ghosts of the past. The ultimate legacy. Why do they do it? Why do the world's most powerful people obsess over the year 2150? It's the ultimate human fear, the fear of being forgotten. A dead hand provision is a monument made of money and law. It's a way to ensure that your name is still spoken, that your rules are still followed, and that your presence is still felt in a world that has moved on without you. If you could control your family's destiny a century from now, would you pull the strings or would you let them breathe? The dead hand provision proves that for the ultra wealthy, the ultimate luxury isn't just spending money, it's controlling time. If this deep dive into the dark side of legacy and billionaire estate planning gave you a new perspective on how the world's wealth is truly managed, make sure to hit that like button right now. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss another breakdown of the hidden systems shaping our future. Drop a comment below and tell me, would you ever accept an inheritance if it meant a ghost got to dictate your entire life? Share this video with someone who loves a good high-stakes legal mystery, and I'll see you in the next one.